concerns. The Sharp Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharp Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharp Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy that you give me a chunk of your afternoon. You know, I think about the state of New York State. Why do I think about that today? Of all the times that I would be thinking about that, why would I be thinking about that today? Because today, our governor is going to be giving a state of the state address. Look at that. So I remember when she gave her inaugural address. I remember when she gave the last time she won the election, she gave that address. She actually used some of my talking points. She talked about the idea of affordability in New York State. Makes sense. I agree. I think most of you in New York State would also agree. Affordability is a big problem. I also talked about the idea of opportunity. She did too. She brought this up in her inaugural address after she won the election. Opportunity. She also brought up the idea of safety. Opportunity, affordability, and safety. Those are the three things that she brought up in her inaugural address. I'm happy about those things. I agree with those things. They were my things. I brought them up. Her team obviously was paying attention to what I was saying, wrote it in her speech, and she said it. The question is, has she worked on any of those? Has she actually worked on any of those? And just from last year, she has signed hundreds of bills into law, done more than one budget. Another one's coming up here. Will anything deal with those three? I remember when our previous Lord and Master, His Majesty King Andrew Cuomo II, was our leader, and he would do his state of the state. And every time he'd do it, he would kind of yell at us, like how bad we were. If you remember, I remember clearly. He would say things like, we got to do this, and we got to do that. And I would say to myself, if only there was some guy in charge who could do these things that you're yelling at us about. There is. Homeboy, it's you. You are the ones who's supposed to do it. I'm going to guess that our new ruler, Her Majesty Queen Cathy I, first of her name, destroyer of the middle class, supporter of the elites, I think she will do exactly the same thing. She will yell at us and be mad at us about how we have to fix things. But I think she'll do something else. The thing that she tends to be good at, to be forward with you, she's good at a couple things. Nothing that helps us, but she's good at some things. And I think one of the things she'll do is she'll talk about all the new socially nice, socially positive, nice things that she has done. And when I say nice, let me define nice. Virtue signaling. That's how she will define nice. That's how I'm defining nice for you. It sounds nice. And she's good at that. She is. She's good at saying, see, there was a problem. So what I did is I made this office of the problem. I gave my friends a bunch of jobs and threw money at it. So clearly I care, right? She'll do a lot of that. She will talk about how many offices she's brought up, laws she's passed. And I guarantee you, if not once, multiple times, she will bring up the Buffalo shooting. Guaranteed. Because she's from Buffalo. And in her eyes, I guess all her friends are black, I guess. I didn't know that was true, but I guess she's going to tell us that all her friends are black. I'm sure she has a black friend. I'm sure she does. But all her friends are black now, I guess. But she will do that. No doubt. Question is, and I go back to it, will she have said anything about affordability? I would bet no. In fact, what she'll say is she'll talk about housing, and she'll say all the laws she's passed to making it clear that you can't discriminate against other people so that she can punish landlords. And you might go, Larry, why do I care about landlords? Good. Punish landlords. They're bad rich people. I think I could see people saying that and believing that. I could, 100%. The problem is all the laws that she passes only punishes small landlords. The big ones can absorb the cost and then wind up buying the small ones and becoming bigger. That's what we keep seeing, right? That's what we keep seeing. So she'll bring it up in a virtual signaling form of way. See, I passed these laws that made the evil landlords not be able to do the evil thing, but what actually will happen is little landlords get crushed and big landlords get bigger. How do I know it to be true? Because that's what's happening. If you're looking around, that's what's happening. She keeps passing the laws and the big banks keep buying more houses. And the little guy can't even sell his house for a decent price, or can't sell his house at all, or can't rent, or gets hammered by some body who decides, I don't want to pay the rent. Well, if you own 500 units and one guy or gal doesn't pay the rent, you don't go under. What happens when you own 1 or 2 units and they're in your house and said person doesn't pay the rent? You lose your house. Who buys your house? Some bank. Because she cares. Affordability. We'll talk about opportunity. Guaranteed, what will she say? Will she say, hey, I've made it easier for people to open up businesses. I've made it easier for people to make money. I've cut some taxes so people can spend more money. No. She will virtue signal that also. She will say things like, well, we're bringing in this company. We're bringing in that company. So we are bribing big business to come in to take our money and our jobs so we can give them big money. And then once all the bribes go away, they will pack up and leave. Well, Larry, how do you know that's going to be true? Because it's always true. Literally always. They come in, take advantage, crush upstate New York particularly. Hardly ever New York City. Not much New York City. It's usually upstate New York. Sometimes Long Island. Usually upstate New York. And again, I'm from New York City. So anything like north of like 225th Street is like upstate for me. So any place upstate, I'm teasing. Rochester, don't be mad at me. I'm teasing. But it'll be upstate someplace. Make nothing happen for the local people. And her friends will then be somehow benefited. But she'll talk and say, see, we're putting money into jobs. That's what New York's doing. That's the opportunity. That's what they're doing. Talk about education. She said how the money she's putting in. How the New York State colleges are better than ever. No, that's true. New York State's education is garbage. Let me say it again. New York State education system, garbage. We know it. Kids can't read. Rochester, oh my God, one of the worst in the entire country. What will she say? I threw money at it. See, I'm a good person. I threw money at it. She will virtue signal her way through this entire thing. Okay, what about safety? Safety. Okay, there we go. Safety. She's made it safe. Why? Gun laws. Guaranteed. I'm making gun laws. That's what it is. And that's how we're being safe. See that? I basically outlawed murder and now it's safe. Oh, wait, it's already outlawed. Yeah, I made illegal guns illegaler. That freaking solved everything. That found the way to solve everything. Of course it did. She'll virtue signal her way through all three of them with no real change, no real impact. And again, I haven't seen it. I think it's happening right now or soon. But I know what it is because I know her and I know the past rulers of our state. And you might think, Larry, you're joking with this ruler thing. I'm not. And if you know this state, you know it's no joke. We have kings and queens. They do as they want. They have no repercussions. They have no chance of losing their seats. And if they could, they'd make it a family monarchy. And who knows if the Cuomo family might come back into play. I wouldn't put that over them at all. Andrew comes back. Maybe Chris comes back. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there's another Cuomo who's going to pop up out of here and become our next king or queen. Who knows? I wouldn't put anything past them. But here is the worst part of it all. Many New Yorkers are going to look at her virtue signaling, look at how she plasters over all the problems with nice sounding rhetoric, which again, she's not bad at. Cuomo was good at it too. In fact, I'll be very clear. Democrats are better at positive, sweet sounding rhetoric than Republicans are. Not even close. Democrats are better at that. She will do it. And when she does it, too many New Yorkers will say, yeah, she's great. Because now today, I feel good. And they'll support her. Am I wrong? You can tell me. 585-346-3000 is the number. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and your internet chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH
Okay, we have a caller, Keith.
to secure your business today.
You're
Don't
welcome.
wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
To live the quality of life we deserve in truth and freedom, informed by our Constitution, our laws, and traditions, we need to pick the best leaders possible. Recent experience certainly illustrates that. Free and accurate elections are essential if we're going to restore our society and safeguard our rights. New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer, nonpartisan group which has been lobbying for open source audits of the State Board of Elections and reform of the electoral process statewide. Did you know Citizens Audit has uncovered over 1 million felony violations of election law? That in 2020, there were 625,000 more voter registrations than existing voting age citizens in just 6 New York counties, that there were 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted. These are just a few shocking examples of the urgent need for reform. You can help. Visit auditny.com and learn the facts, how to volunteer, and make a difference in your community. Again, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Start at auditny.com. That's auditny.com.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. 585-346-3000 is the number to chat with me. And I actually do want to take a call. I'm going to grab one if I could. I'm going to grab Keith. Keith, how are you?
Hopefully you and your family are doing well. So here goes. There's an old maxim that says you have to know your enemy before you can defeat them. The Democrats are now globalists, and they really don't care about individual countries or even different levels of government, except when it comes to expanding their power. So in conservative talk circles, we are hearing the globalist mantra of you will own nothing and
Yes.
love it. So I believe
Yes.
that's what you, Mr. Sharpe, are talking about. They are going to be the big nanny government. We are going to be their subjects and not citizens of any given national country, to say it. We are going to be their subjects, and they from high up on far will tell us what to do. We must dance to their tune. So to sum this up, they are going to be the nanny state, and hopefully you as a libertarian, like us conservatives, we want individual initiative and gumption. They're going to take that away from us and do it with glee. They don't care about us. It's all about them dictating to the rest of us.
So let me touch a couple pieces there, Keith. Number one, the saddest part about what you just said is that there is a huge chunk of New Yorkers, and I would say even of Americans, but we're talking about New York specifically, who know that and don't care. Or worse, are happy to have it happen because they think the alternative is some other horrible dystopian world. They think this will be a better, safer, nicer world. You and I both know that's not true. But I think the saddest part is that many people know it, accept it, and or embrace it. Am I wrong?
You're very right. The exact year in our country, anyway, was 1965 when the two bad guys, President Johnson and Senator Ted Kennedy, got together and said, we are going to take groups of people, starting with the minorities, and we are going to get them hooked forever on the government teat. And now, 59 years later, they've got a certain segment that can be summed up in one survey percentage that, as bad as Biden is, very, very bad, of course, he's still got a 38% approval rating. Now, Republicans will say, well, he's underwater. Well, what's Biden doing so fantastic that he's got 2 out of 5 people still voting for him? And that's the answer. Those people are tied forever to government programs, welfare, and everything. It's going to be very hard.
Let me touch a couple things here. You're blaming 1965. I would go before that. I would go back to the New Deal. I would go back to the Fed. I would go back. You can't do any of the things now without prepping it from over 100 years ago. The idea of government stepping in, not to just protect rights, which is the right answer. If we're going to have a government, the goal of it should be to protect our rights. And in theory, the Civil Rights Act was a wonderful act. It was supposed to protect rights. That's not a bad thing. But as most laws that happen, is the outcome what the intent was? And there's an issue. But the concept of 1965, I could go back 20, 30, 40, 50 years from that even. But let me go even further. If we don't change the individual, as you said, gumption, if we don't change that, then none of this matters because we are going to vote for it. As I've said, with the exception of the lockdowns, prior to the lockdowns, American people almost never gave their rights away. I'm sorry, the government almost never just took our rights. We just gave them away because we were afraid. We were worried. Protect us, government. Here's our rights. Protect us, government. Here's our rights. The lockdowns changed it. Lockdowns, they just took it. They said, we're taking your rights. And this is why I'm so worried, Keith, because not enough people said no. They went, okay. Well, not even okay. They said yes and then punished their neighbors who didn't acquiesce. I think we're in worse trouble than what you just said.
Well, I agree with you on the civil rights part. There's hopefully no debate on that. The problem, and my final comment, the progressives, as I'm calling them, they've infiltrated everywhere. Go back to World War I with President Woodrow Wilson. He's on record. He hated the Constitution. You got an American. We're going into war World War I against Germany, and you've got an American president on the sly, and even more obvious, saying, I don't want the Constitution. It's been around the greater part of the 20th century and now into this century, and oh my God, it's everywhere. How do we defeat them? That's the problem. They're everywhere now, and it's literally, in closing, it's time to pick up the gun. I know that you disagree with that, but
I disagree completely.
Other than the bullet box, you talk about the ballot box. Other than the bullet box now, where do we go from here?
Well, look, you aren't the only person, Keith, who feels that way. I know lots of people who do. Some of my friends do. And I will stand by it again. I do not want violence. I don't want that. I want us to fix this through the system. That's why I keep running. That's why I keep trying to get independents to win. That's why I keep trying to get independents to run. That's why I keep trying to change this system. Because my worry is what you just said is the final outcome. I don't want that outcome. And if that does come to that, I want to be sure that I did everything that I could do as me to stop that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the show. It's why I keep going. It's why I keep doing it, because I want you to be wrong, Keith. I want you to be wrong. Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it. So Keith's pretty, go ahead. I'm sorry, Keith, go.
My very final comment, that's you. You're a very good person. I'm not giving you a false compliment. The problem is they, the bad guys, the left, as a conservative, I'm calling them, you a libertarian might give them another branded name, but the left will not back down. They are fully Marxist, and they are ramping up for violence. If Trump wins, by example, we are going to see the left come at us in a very violent manner, much more than they did during the burning summer of 2020.
Thank you for the call, Keith. I appreciate it. So I guess what I'll say here, if I could, is I get where Keith is coming from. I do. I hear it. I would argue the left thinks the same of the right, though. Why do I say that? I always differentiate leadership from the people on the ground, the voters from their leaders. Do I think the average Democrat in New York State is somehow a bad person? I don't at all. I know many of them, many of my friends. I think most Democrats across the country, to include in New York State, are good people who want the right thing. Their leaders, I cannot say that. For many of their leaders, they are terrible, horrible people. I know, I've met them. But to be forward, a lot of Republican leaders are crappy too. Terrible. I've met them here in New York State. They're terrible. They are trying to have us fight each other because they win when they fight each other. In New York State, the left is clearly winning. Not even close, clearly winning. And what do? They're not helping people. So they convince the actual average Democratic voter that every conservative is evil, that every conservative is a bad guy, they're all terrible, so vote against them or they're going to kill you. They convince them of this, and then they begin to believe it. We're dating based upon conservative and liberal. Think about that. We're breaking up families over this. Wouldn't you think somebody would be saying, put them together? They're not, because they're not actually solving any problems. So while, Keith, I get what you're saying, I do believe the average Republican, the average Democrat, the average independent, the average libertarian, I do believe the average voter can be turned to see that this internal fighting is silly. It's not working. The leadership has no reason to fix this. You are right. The leadership does want. They want to have it to where we own nothing and we'll be happy. True. We have to say no. If we say no, we can't fix this. Am I crazy? Maybe I am, but I want to stop this if we can. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. Back with your calls and your chat. I will get to it after the break.
For truth and freedom.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Strong, potentially locally damaging wind gusts will begin to diminish during the overnight. Will be areas of rain out there as well. Temps in the 40s. On Wednesday, turning colder. A few rain to snow showers. Still some gusty winds. They should stay under 40 miles an hour. Temps drop into the 30s. A little break on Thursday. Another significant storm threat Friday into Saturday. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
At Springwater Amish Workshop, storage sheds and gazebos are their business. For the new year, you can order right now and avoid potential 2024 price increases from the manufacturers. There's no down payment needed. You can schedule delivery whenever you're ready. Special offers to sweeten the deal. Get $100 off or a free wrap. Get super savings on in-stock gazebos, picnic pavilion, and select buildings. Choose exterior vinyl double 4 Dutch lap, pine board and batten, or smart siding. 2x4 16-inch on-center rafters. Half-inch 4-ply C-decks or OSB sheathing on roof with lifetime warranty. Architectural shingles, 5/8-inch exterior grade 5 plywood floor, 4x4 pressure treated skids, 2x4 16-inch on-center floor joists. These sheds have the best warranty in the business. Save big on 2023 lawn items stored for you till spring. Springwater Amish Workshop, 7936 Route 15 Springwater. Open new winter hours Wednesday through Friday 9 to 5, Saturday 9 to 3. Visit SpringwaterAmishWorkshop.com.
Tax season is upon us once again. Whether you're looking for small business or individual tax return services, you need to know how 2023 legislation and tax law changes have affected your tax situation. Issues to consider: stimulus checks, advanced child tax credits, sick and family leave credits, and much, much more. Better get the A-team on your side. Paget Business Services in Caledonia has the experience and expertise to help benefit you the most. They use state-of-the-art tax software, and owner Ben Guerrera has 10 years of experience. This year, don't even think about struggling with generic tax prep software or trying to work with a relative or friend. Tax returns have become even more complicated, so call Paget Business Services in Caledonia to make your appointment. Get peace of mind this tax season and head into 2024 with confidence. Paget Business Services, preparing individual and small business tax returns since 1991. Call 538-2501. That's 538-2501. You can also visit their website at pagetbusinessservices.com/Caledonia.
Hi there, I'm Connie, Top Cat at Alley Cat Boutique. If you're looking for unique clothes, shoes, jewelry, and gifts, Alley Cat has it all at the perfect price. Alley Cat is a charming and entertaining shopping trip. If you haven't visited yet, stop in and be enchanted. It's a new year everywhere, and this year Alley Cat is offering something new. A psychic reader in the store on Saturdays. If you've never had an intuitive reading, this is a perfect opportunity. Stop in the store or call 585-317-0699 to make an appointment. Alley Cat Perfect Price Boutique, 5604 Big Tree Road, Lakeville, across from Minahan's. See you there, cats.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
WYSL.
This is Gary Mervis, founder of Camp Good Days. When I began Camp Good Days, I made a promise that no family would have to choose between paying their bills or sending their child to camp. Camp Good Days, providing programs and services to children and families impacted by cancer and sickle cell anemia. Visit campgooddays.org to learn how you can enroll in a monthly giving program, because anyone with cancer deserves good days and special times.
I'll watch your eyes light up as I hand you a perfectly crafted Tom Walls ice cream cone. I'm Dan from Avon Tom Walls. I'll make you an ice cream cone masterpiece that's Michelangelo worthy. Tom Walls. Good. Good.
Tom Walls.
Sharpeway Radio on the WYSL stations.
We have Mike from Rochester.
Got it. Hey, it's Larry Sharpe here on WYSL Rochester, New York. Sharpeway Radio, 585-346-3000 is the number to call. I have a bunch of people in the chat, and I want to grab a bunch of your comments. There's so many of them. But let me first grab another call if I could. I will grab Mike from Rochester. Mike, how are you?
Hey, Larry, pretty good. Merry Christmas if you celebrate the Eastern Orthodox.
Yes, I do know. Thank you.
Hey, 2 points. I kind of understand Keith's frustration and feeling, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Time to start squirreling away just in case. And my second point is, what do you think the Queen's speech is going to be about with the illegal migrants that have come in, and how we're going to pay for this? Who's she going to blame? Is it going to be blamed on Trump, or instead of her taking responsibility?
Okay, well, she won't take responsibility. That we're aware of, right? Of course. She will blame the broken border policies. She will not say it's Biden's fault either, because she needs Uncle Joe to write her a check. She is going to say that Uncle Joe is his responsibility. He has to write a check, right? He's going to say that for sure.
Uncle Joe is not writing the check.
Yes. So she is going to try to put some indirect pressure on him. She's going to say things like, well, it's the federal government's issue. Here's who I think she'll blame. It's who Eric Adams is already blaming. She's going to blame the governors of Texas and Florida. She's going to say they are sending that New Yorkers, all these people, and they should handle it. They're being mean. Remember, this is virtue signaling. So she's going to say, they're being mean, sending these people here, lying to them, blah, blah, blah. That's the problem. The problem is DeSantis and Abbott. They're bad people. They're Republicans, so clearly bad people by default. So they're bad people. They're sending them here to New York. We're going to take them because we love them, because we're good people, unlike evil Republicans. And Uncle Joe is messing up, not giving us money. That is what I think she'll say.
I do got a question for you, because you are in touch with quite a few people throughout the state. What is the sentiment about, say, like the inner cities and the rest of the state, about, people that are on social services now, that eventually we only have so much money, and if Uncle Joe doesn't come up with any money, services are going to be cut somewhere to supply these people with money, because we don't have any.
You can see what's happening already. New York State's budget keeps growing, right? They just keep growing like there's no tomorrow. And the debt keeps going up like no tomorrow. Nothing's changing. And we lost from the IRS, by the way. The IRS says this. New York State has lost $20 billion in revenue due to migration, meaning New Yorkers leaving the state. $20 billion in 1 year. That's not good. That is not a good thing for us. So all we're going to do is keep pushing until it breaks. Why wouldn't they? What possible benefit would they have for trying to repair it? They're making money. They can keep blaming people, and they're doing fine. And in the case of New York State's the worst. There is literally no chance of Hochul losing her race unless an independent somehow wins. Republicans cannot win a statewide election in this state anymore. Those days are long gone. The state's almost 3-1 Democrat to Republican. A Republican has not won a statewide election in 22 years. And that's not going to change anytime soon. Most of the people leaving are people who would be voting against Hochul. They're leaving the state. So the people who are left are people who depended upon her in some way, shape, or form, or just feel good and are just saying yes. Does that make sense?
Unfortunately, you are correct, Larry. I gotta admit that because the Republicans
Thank you, my friend.
did bail out. So thanks.
I appreciate it. Have a good one. Thanks for the call, Mike. So I think he's right. He agrees with me. Sorry, Keith, if you're listening. We don't want to go the way you want to go. We're still trying to stop it because we feel like it matters. I completely agree. Let me grab a couple comments if I can. Mike Voss is listening. Hey, Mike. He says, I bet Hochul will not address broken infrastructure. Last night, 10,000 affected in the Bronx as houses violently shaken due to a broken water main. Why? 5% cut to the budget to fund sanctuary status while opening borders. He goes on to say she will virtue signal to distract from the real problems that is causing New York to lose population and business. Agreed completely. And again, I'm not against cutting budgets. You're never going to hear me be upset about that. My problem is, if you're cutting the budget, are you actually cutting the budget or are you just shifting money someplace else? Number two, are you actually cutting the budget? Great. What's your plan to still assist people? Right? Mike just said something. He says these people are getting money from the government. It's true. And if people are getting money from the government and they've been doing it for years, how do you replace that income? How do you assist those people in getting on their feet? Where is the community that I talk about all the time to support them? Right? Some people need help. It's true. Some people are in trouble. It's true. We all fall down. The question is government the best way to assist them? I would argue no. Family, community, other groups, nonprofits. But that infrastructure, to Mike's point, doesn't exist now. Most of these communities have actually lost the institutional knowledge to support themselves because, to Mike and Keith's point, government stepped in for so long, they don't know how to help themselves even at that point. And this is not just people think it's only poor neighborhoods. This is just poor neighborhoods. It's neighborhoods in general. We think of the poor neighborhood. It's all neighborhoods. We've relied on government for so long, then they don't know how to help themselves anymore. We have to build that out. So again, Mike, you want to cut budgets? I'm in. But then where is your plan for growth? Right? John goes on and says,
Roger,
she's excellent at making it rain with cash. But the wrong kind of cash, John, you're right. She's only helping out her cronies. So that now richer people are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and the middle class is disappearing. Not that I think the government should be giving out cash to everybody, but if the government's going to give out cash, if that's going to happen, give it to everybody so we can start building out our own worlds, if you're going to do it. Or don't do it. I'm with the don't do it part. But if I have to, why would I want to have them support their own cronies? So you can put all the money away in some account in the Cayman Islands versus you and I getting the cash and spending it in the local communities. If you're going to give out cash, give it to the people or don't give it. I'm good on both cases, either way. So let me grab the call if I could. I'm going to grab Roger now. Roger, how are you?
Hey, Larry, what's up?
Roger, you're calling early. Usually you call in the last segment. I'm glad. What's going on, my friend?
All right. So pretty much, let me just tell you, progressives, leftists, Marxists, we hate the Democrat Party. True leftists don't vote Democrat. Okay? We can't stand them. Okay? They're regressives as far as we're concerned. But here's the thing. I will go back to what I said before. The only way you're going to make government better is through direct democracy.
Agreed.
We have to become the next state, the next citizen ballot initiative state, and support New York State Senator Pamela Helming's amendment bill S-2290 and Assemblyman Joshua Jensen's A-2933, so that we can place our own initiatives on the ballot so that we can ratify our own amendments into the state constitution so that we can approve our own laws as well as through veto referendum, repeal laws. It's as
So
simple as
let me
that.
touch this if I could. I know, Raj, you bring this up often, and I agree with you. And even though, to be clear, I know there would be laws passed that I would disagree with. I'm aware of that. And I'm still okay with it. Why am I okay with it? Because at least there would actually be accountability, number one, which right now there's none. And number two, to your point, we could actually get rid of them. If the laws don't work, we can go, wow, that was stupid. Okay, let's get rid of it. So we could actually get rid of the bad laws. We don't do that now. We don't get rid of anything now. We just keep tacking more and more bad laws upon bad laws. So I'm on board, even though I'm aware there will be laws that I will not like. Here's the difference. Right now, there's tons of laws I don't like getting passed, and I have no power and no one has accountability. So I'll take it. I'm in, Roger. I agree.
Exactly. Because the thing is that this is what I see. If we get the government to, I take Louis Rossman, for example.
Okay.
We'll be like, okay, pass this law, right? When they pass it, they don't pass it with, if it's a spider, not all 8 legs are intact. They'll pass the spider, but they'll snip 1 or 2 legs off. Can the spider get along and manage itself? Sure, but it did not pass the spider at full strength with all of its legs. That's exactly what they did to Louis Rossman.
I'm up on a break, Roger. I appreciate the call. I think you're right. Direct democracy is always going to be a better option than the monarchy that we have now. Agreed. None of it's perfect, but that's a better one for sure. Am I right? Is Roger right? 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. I'll be back with your chat. I see you. I will get to you after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop here for your hunting needs. With changes in New York State laws, they'll work with you to fulfill your needs. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
The Stars and Stripes flag store is open again. Shop at 783 South Avenue Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 to 5. All American-made flags, many different types, apparel, drinkware, ornaments, and more. Honor our heroes. Shop Stars and Stripes flag store open again.
In 1926, the Avon Fire Department put an Aaron's Fox pumper into service. It now sits fully restored in a museum near Toronto. Avon has an opportunity to bring the Fox home for its 100th birthday for a fraction of its appraised value. The Aaron's Fox Full Circle Preservation Society needs your help. Look us up on Facebook or call 615-6463. Let's bring home the Fox.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
It is Larry Sharpe here, WYSL, Rochester, New York, Sharpe Way Radio. So happy that you're giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I do appreciate it. We have been talking about New York State and virtue signaling and not getting anything actually done. Not direct democracy, not with our monarchy, nothing. Just fighting each other, and the leaders keep making money, keep getting stronger, and we keep getting weaker again and again and again. I'm going to deal with the chat here. A lot of you guys giving me comments. I want to cover them. Gene says, gun laws are used to add charges to people who might only have a misdemeanor and make them a felon. Who suffers from this? People who can't afford the best lawyers. Gina is 100% correct. These gun laws we keep throwing up there, it's all just to make sure that
Ron,
young people
Rochester,
get trashed, get beaten up. 100%. Ira says, the Bruin decision knocks out the Sullivan Law and the SAFE Act. Yet these unconstitutional laws are still being enforced against the people of New York. You defend yourself and be charged with criminal possession of a weapon, made a felony out of everyone with a firearm due to the SAFE Act. Ira, you are correct. And this is my point from earlier. The Supreme Court says this is all unconstitutional. And Her Majesty says, here's 10 more laws. I'm not joking. 10 more laws against guns. Ira, you are absolutely correct. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Last comment for a minute. Dave says, question, Larry, do you ever hear the commercials that's broadcast on your show? I do. I hear them openly all the time. Yes, absolutely. Let me go on the call if I could. Is this Ron?
Hey, Larry. Just
How are
wanted
you?
to reinforce. I'm good, man. How about you?
Good.
I just wanted to reinforce a point you had made earlier about how New York brings in big business. A business in DeWitt had been open for 5 years, $90 million plant, $13 million in taxes, closed a few days before Christmas. And again, they just burn through our tax dollars, bringing these businesses in, and they leave very quickly. Another thing that's going on in Clay, New York, which is a suburb of Syracuse, they have this chip manufacturer, and I understand that they are taking land from people who live close to the plant they're building with eminent domain. I don't know
That's
a lot
New York
of
State. Yep.
Yeah, so you're aware of that?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll hang up and I'll let you talk to that. Thank you.
No, go ahead. Say your piece.
No, I'm just saying it's ridiculous that, New York residents and taxpayers that, we have this tyranny placed upon us, and there's not a whole lot we can do. So whatever we can do to get some power back, I think most of us would all be for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for the call, brother. I appreciate it. Yes, eminent domain, the government will use, New York State will use all the time. If you remember when I ran in 2018, I was trying to stop the hospital downtown Utica, right? Because they were using eminent domain to crush 40 local businesses. Let me repeat that in case your head wants to explode. Destroy 40 local businesses to put in a hospital, which still isn't functional. And that was 6 years ago. Still not functional, meaning that don't have everything up together. Roofs are collapsing, all kind of problems. Parking lot isn't done yet, all kind of problems. 6 years ago, when you had 40 functioning businesses, to include some nonprofits there who were actually feeding some of the homeless people there. All gone. Why? I got to pay my cronies so they can go ahead and build this hospital. Happens all the time. Now we're bringing in Micron. Oh, they're going to make microchips, which is nice. I'm not against microchips, but it's more of the military industrial complex stuff coming in, which is what upstate New York is becoming. It's becoming a military industrial complex, cronyism. That's what's happening. The kickbacks all go back to, in this case, all Democrats. Don't get me wrong. Kickbacks go to Republicans in other states. In this state, it's all Democrats. The kickbacks go back to them. And local people, to his point, are crushed. We lose our land. We lose our history. We lose our farms. We lose our businesses. And once the bennies go away, once the bribes go away, the companies leave. Remember Musk came here and left? DeWitt, it's the second time it's happened in DeWitt. One time we had to sell a place off in DeWitt, I'm not joking, for $1, just to get rid of it because the state was spending too much money in maintenance. So it sold it off
Alex,
for $1.
Henrietta.
It is a big problem. Let me grab one more call if I could. Alex from Henrietta. How are you, Alex?
Hey, how you doing? Here's some other things. In Rochester, they're going to make this the photo imaging capital of the world. Haven't seen that. Remember, I think it was Four Winds or 4-Star was going to come in where they destroyed the mall in downtown Rochester.
Yes.
That never happened. We had the Buffalo Billions. How's that doing for you?
Absolutely. Giveaway after giveaway after giveaway to cronies and the individual people never win. You're totally correct.
And one more point here, sir. Have you heard anything about New York's law, the bill that was passed about 2.13, where basically the state is handing over to the World Health Organization any call that they can take any citizen at any time that they deem sick or unhealthy and send them to transfer housing?
I have heard that now we can now arrest people who are ill or sick because they're going to hurt others somehow. I remember that. Did it actually get passed?
I think it did. Do some homework on that. 2.13. I don't know if it's a New York City thing right now or a state thing, the way they pass things at 2 o'clock in the morning. But if you're in your house,
thank you for bringing this up. I heard about this, but I didn't know if it got passed or not.
Yeah, well, I just want my New York State residents, my fellow citizens, to know about that one.
Thank you. I know Mike Voss is listening. I'm sure he'll do the homework. Mike, I'm telling you, just so you know, here he did it. I'm sorry. Mike already passed it. Thank you. I knew he did the homework on it. Mike, you never disappoint. He says, yes, it passed, was challenged and confirmed state law. Why am I not surprised you knew that, Mike? But yes, there we go. That's what actually happened. Yes. Frank says, Utica Hospital and the parking lot still not completed. Yes. Who got campaign donations from the contractors? Yep. Wafer chip fab manufacturing in Marcy, New York, given millions and now stalled from producing wafers. There we go. Again and again and again. We keep seeing that again and again. This is a big problem. It drives me crazy. All we do is throw money at things. And you know what? If you're going to throw money at it, at least solve the problem. At least that, right? I mean, I don't like it, but at least you can show me the average New Yorker, the average American wouldn't hate taxes so much if we actually thought something would get fixed. But it doesn't. So I don't know if it's pronounced Wise May. She says, we support those who make us feel special, valued, and seen. Dems are good at that. They're better than the Republicans at that. You're right. And I know if you're more conservative or if you lean more right, you don't like to hear that. I'm telling you the truth. When it comes to rhetoric, they're better. They're better at the warm rhetoric. Joe says, both Republicans and Democrats have good rhetoric. They both fooled me. Yes, but different types of rhetoric. Republican rhetoric tends to be more about, we could do this, bootstraps, back to the idea of strong Americans. They're more that way. Democrats are much more about, we got you. We love you. It's all good. Everyone's here. And I think, to her point, Joe, people like it. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel good that maybe it makes them want to vote that way. Because, and here's the most important piece, one of the biggest problems we have right now is most people aren't voting for their best interests. Most people are voting out of fear. I'm afraid of the other, so I'm going to vote for this guy or gal because the other guy is clearly evil or horrible or going to kill me somehow. That is one of the worst things we could possibly have. I think that's the biggest problem. Guys, I'll be doing a show later on this evening around 7 o'clock on the actual State of the Union. If you want to watch, please feel free to do that. Thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.
Hey, have a great rest of your day. Thanks.